Okay, happy Sunday. Here we go. How's everybody's week going? It's been a great week. I've been running detox with the doc. We had a great week. We're on day 7 of a 10-day detox, and it's been pretty good. Everybody's feeling good. I had one person who couldn't even start the shakes until about 3 or 4 days in because she hadn't received her. Oh, hey, Rebel, how are you? I realized I didn't even have my microphone up here. Okay, this should be better. Anyway, so we had one person who didn't start her shakes until about 4 days in, and just from eating on the plan, she was down 3 pounds. Now, I'm going to tell you that's all inflammation. So when we do these programs, it's really designed to flush this excess inflammation from your body because inflammation is the root cause of all disease. So detox with the doc is going really well. Super happy with everybody. Everybody's really just in the 7 days, really by 3 or 4 days, people were experiencing better energy, better digestion, less bloating, better sleeping. They were thinking better. We had the weight loss. So it's really, really powerful. Hey, Ken, how are you? Ken's in the program. Ken, how are you doing? Were you able to start yet? Ken came in late, but that's okay. We always accept people. I always say we keep the home fires burning. So hopefully you're doing well, and we're only on day 7, so we're going to make this happen. So we got Jason coming in from Facebook. Thanks for being here, Jason. Okay, so today, what I want to do, we talk a lot about diet. So we talk a lot about nutrition and nutrients. What are the things you need to be doing to protect your health? And there's a really critical piece that I don't talk enough about, and that is stress. And stress ultimately leads to so many detrimental things in the body. So stress actually creates inflammation in the body, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And it creates imbalanced bacteria in the gut. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought because I just let the dog in and now he wants to go out. Hold on. Yeah, it's 12 degrees out. He does not need to go out and stay out like he wants to. So, what's Rebel? It's got to be pretty cold up your way. I know we're all in Michigan here so far. So, okay, sorry. I'm like, now I'm cold. There we go. All right, nice, furry, cozy sweatshirt. Okay, now I can think clearly. All right, here we go. Ken says, it worked miracles. He's got more energy and he's sleeping better. It's incredible. That's awesome. I love to hear that. And it's just the simplest things. And Ken, you weren't even in it from day 1, which, I mean, again, like it doesn't even require 10 days to start feeling that, the effects of that. So I'm so glad you jumped in. And I think it's going to go down to like -7 or 10 tonight. So, So talk about stress. Oh my gosh. All right. So as we get into stress, the reason that it's so important that we address it is that in our world of stress, we are in a constant battle of things coming at us. And so I'm going to bring up a PowerPoint here. So one of the things that we're always doing is we're looking for work-life balance, right? So if you're somebody if you're constantly looking for better work-life balance, give me a thumbs up in the chat. The thing with work-life balance is you see the scales here, and you can clearly see that work on the left side is far larger than life. And if we think about work-life balance, the only reason we seek work-life balance is because of the work side of things. We're constantly, it's, oh my God, tomorrow's another Monday. I can't wait for Friday. When's the weekend coming? I need a vacation. We say all of these things to ourselves only from the work perspective. Work makes us want to have another Friday and another weekend and a vacation and not another Monday. And if you think about it this way, when was the last time you were on vacation? Not when was the last time you were on vacation, but the last time you were on vacation, let's say you're sitting on the beach, you got a cocktail in your hand, it's a beautiful day, you're relaxed, it's amazing, you're with your loved ones or your family. Life is good. And you're sitting on that beach, and did you say to yourself, I really need to work more? Absolutely not. That is the last thing we want to do. So work-life balance does not exist, and we overwork ourselves. And I'm going to tell you how to overcome some of this overwhelming work piece of it. And really, honestly, the balance comes from, I call it a work-life ebb and flow. Work-life balance does not exist. Work and life they ebb and they flow. Sometimes you spend more time with your family and with personal time, and sometimes you spend more time on work and projects. That is just how it's going to be. But the bottom line is that regardless of which part you're ebbing and flowing in, you still have to be taking care of yourself and any of the stressors that come your way, because otherwise it's just going to wreak havoc on your life. Wouldn't it be great if we could all wake up and, it's just all sunflowers and the sun is shining and the weather's beautiful and we're breathing in the air and, oh my gosh, life is good, right? But, the problem is we wake up and we get that first text message or the first email or a phone call, or you wake up and, your kids are late for school or you're late for a meeting. It's like the chaos just comes at us right from the jump. And, before long, it's 10 a.m. and all you want to do is curl up in the fetal position on your desk, right? So we want to start the day off really great, but we don't make it too far into the day before we're just like ready to throw in the towel and curl up in a fetal position in the corner. And the unfortunate part is that during our busy days, we are so highly scheduled. We're scheduled from morning till night, whether it's family stress, whether it's work stress or schedules or kids in sports, or you've got after work events going on. We live on deadlines. And of course, just when you think you've got everything worked out, other people are coming at you and they need stuff from you. And, you think you've got the balance in there, and then suddenly you've got another 10 projects thrown on your plate because somebody else didn't have time to do it. But hey, you're under a deadline and you're the best person for the job. So this stress is constantly coming at us. And so again, when I say this work-life balance doesn't exist, we just have to figure out how to navigate inside of it. And the problem really becomes that this stress is literally like we are constantly being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. Now, what do I mean by that? Because you're like, well, saber-toothed tigers don't exist. How can this be like being chased by a saber-toothed tiger? And the way stress works is that our bodies are meant for acute stress. Our bodies are meant for things like you're walking on the prairie and life is good, and suddenly a saber-toothed tiger jumps out of the brush, and you are either going to fight, flee, or freeze, right? So fight or flight, fight, flee, or freeze. So, because sometimes we freeze in moments like that. Hopefully we run. Hopefully we flee. But the stressors, so that stressor triggers things in your body automatically. It's an automatic response. And your body goes into a state of survival in order to get you to run to save your life. So a lot of things have to happen. So let's think about this. Tiger jumps out, immediately your heart rate goes up and your blood pressure goes up. The blood in your body gets shunted to your extremities. Now, why is that? Well, you got to have enough blood pumping through your body to get to the extremities so that you have enough blood to power the muscles to be able to get you to run and perhaps climb a tree to save your life. Now, in that, first of all, how many people do you know with high blood pressure?
There's quite a lot of them. A lot of people are just flat out medicated for this. But when we look at actually how this is really happening, I'm going to show you some tools on how to actually naturally lower your blood pressure. So stay tuned, stay with me. So as we start to run, now what happens is, let's just say you had just eaten a sandwich. Do you think your body's really concerned about digesting that sandwich or getting you to run? Getting you to run, right? So your body doesn't care about digesting the sandwich. And so the food sits there. There's the hydrochloric acid. There's not enough in the body to start digesting that food. And so how many people do you know that have digestive issues? This is all chronic stress related. So, hey, Haig, welcome in. So now let's say you had just started to get a little bit of a sniffle, a little bit of a cough. So your immune system was in high gear. Now this happens. And now do you think your body's has any interest in fighting off any kind of infection or cold or virus? Absolutely not. How many people do you know that are chronically ill, that have chronic sinusitis, some kind of chronic autoimmune issue, and you're just medicated for it because you're like, oh, I'm managing it through medication. You're not getting to the root cause. You have to get to the root cause of these things. The other thing that happens, and this is a super interesting thing, I've always found this fascinating, is that when you're under chronic or acute stress, and this happens in chronic stress too, but when you're under acute stress, your blood lipids, so there's HDL and LDL, those are your cholesterols, and HDL most people would consider your good cholesterol. LDL, a lot of people would consider your bad cholesterol. So your LDL goes up. Why is that? It's stickier. It clots faster. So now you're out on the prairie, and let's say that that tiger reaches out and actually swipes at you and cuts your arm. Well, do you want to clot it faster or slower? Well, your body wants to clot it faster. Your body's incredibly intelligent. And so it knows under a stress that there's a potential for some kind of injury. And so it increases the stickiness of those lipids so that if you get cut, you will heal faster. I mean, isn't that fascinating? Now, the next question is, how many people do you know on cholesterol medication because their cholesterol is too high? The LDLs are too high. That is stress. So let's use some stress reduction techniques in order to be able to help us manage these things naturally so that we're not in a constant state of being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. So going back to my original statement, we were built for acute stress. We were built to be able to run and fight or flee situations like this. But the way our world is today is that we are constantly being chased by outside stressors. And this may as well be the metaphoric saber-toothed tiger. So how do we manage ourselves around that? So now that you recognize that chronic stress is all around you, and we're not built for that. We're built for acute stress. So what that does is it turns on a part of the nervous system called the sympathetic nervous system. That's your fight or flight response. And your sympathetic nervous system tends to stay triggered. It tends to stay heightened over the course of the day. And your rest, digest, and repair part of your nervous system, your parasympathetic nervous system, can't function properly. So it doesn't have the power to override your chronic stress. So we have to figure out, how do we turn on our parasympathetic nervous system? How do we turn on rest, digest, and repair so that we can get out of fight or flight? And that's what we're going to talk about. Now, when you're in this chronic state of stress, this chronic state of running from a saber-toothed tiger, I just went through a few of the things just based on the fact of metabolically what happens when you have to run from that tiger. So we get an inflammatory response. We get digestive issues. So again, like your digestion's not going to function properly. Inflammation from the stress hormones. The stress hormones cause inflammation because the inflammation is there because it's trying to figure out, does it have to fight a battle? Does it have to go heal something? Inflammation can actually be good for us. It is good for us. You cut yourself, you see redness, things swell up. Those are inflammatory factors coming in to let your body heal, but not on a daily basis all day long. Absolutely not. We get hormonal issues. We get mental fog because really that saber-toothed tiger comes in and jumps out while you're trying to do math problems. Do you think you'll be able to do a math problem once that saber-toothed tiger jumps out? No. So it shuts down your body, your brain's ability for critical thought. And this is where we get our mental fog, our brain fog, our inability to be creative. And it really affects our brains from the long term. So we want to get rid of the mental fog, the anxiety, the depression, because all this inflammation is going up into the brain. And it's creating this inability to really focus. POTS, positional orthostatic tachycardia. This is a condition that this is a complete dysregulation of the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. There are many more people who walk around with this POTS, and they don't know what to do. But if they can learn how to regulate their vagus nerve, which I'll tell you what this does in a minute, or your rest, digest, and repair, they can actually do quite well for themselves. We have fertility issues. Again, why do we have fertility issues? Well, do you think your body is in a prepped state for getting pregnant if you're running from a saber-toothed tiger? No. So fertility and reproductive, I guess my brain was really wanting to focus on that. Those are both the same things. Actually, no, I take that back. Fertility issues and reproductive issues are two different things. So reproductive issues would be things like menstrual irregularities. For men, it could be erectile dysfunction. It could be low sperm counts. In fact, we get lower sperm counts with increased stress. So, men have 50% less sperm today than they did 50 years ago. So we have a real fertility issue and a real reproductive issue going on in our world. It affects sleep. We get autoimmune diseases. We are more tired. Again, I talked about blood pressure, AFib. So AFib is a cardiovascular issue of the heart where you get atrial fibrillation, so irregular heartbeats coming from the atria. And then type 2 diabetes, because increased stress can cause a disruption of your gut bacteria. And then also it liberates glycogen in the liver to give you extra carbohydrates or glucose to be able to run. Okay, you get it? So, because your muscles are going to need the glucose to be able to run. So the liver releases glycogen, and that can actually increase our risk of type 2 diabetes. No, get over here. Sorry. Is POTS considered autoimmune? That's a really great question. I don't know. It's definitely a nervous system issue, but I don't know if it would be considered autoimmune. But I do know that it can be handled quite successfully utilizing some of the tools that I'm going to talk about. But interesting. Do you know anybody who has POTS, Haig? So this is what the vagus nerve looks like. Now, I find this absolutely fascinating, where you have the vagus nerve. You can see the two yellow lines. Unfortunately, unless I do this, which isn't going to work. Let me see if this works. Window here. Yeah, it does this weird thing. I don't know how to get it to not do that. Okay, so we're just going to do that. Okay, so when we look at, and when I can't actually share the screen, I can't, my pointer doesn't work properly. So, but you can see here on this vagus nerve description. So it comes out from the brain. Hey, P squared, welcome in. You've got one that comes out from each side of the brain. It goes down. You can see that it comes down. It comes down through the carotid arteries in the front of the body. It goes down into the lungs. It surrounds the heart. And then it goes all the way down through the esophagus into the stomach. And you can see it just forms this web all around your intestines. Now, vagus nerve, the word vagus is a derivative of, I think it's Greek or Latin, but it means vagabond. So it wanders everywhere. So this nerve is everywhere. So when you think about this, and I've talked about this in prior videos where I've talked about, have you ever gotten a butterflies in your stomach? Will you look at somebody or you're like, love at first sight, right? You get butterflies in your stomach when you see somebody, or you get nervous because you're thinking about a presentation that you have to do and you feel it in your stomach, or it's anytime you feel something in your gut that's coming from your brain, and vice versa. Your gut is feeding your brain signals. So you can see that's all vagal innervation. And so next time you get like weird butterflies in your stomach, that's coming from the vagus nerve. You can go, that's my vagus nerve. And if that does that though, then we want to make sure we do some deep breathing, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But the vagus nerve goes everywhere. And so it goes into the ears, the eyes, the throat, the tongue, the esophagus, the stomach, the pancreas. So pancreas is blood sugar handling. Of course, the intestines, the liver, the kidneys, the colon, the lungs, and the heart. And of course, the colon, this is where we get a lot of people who don't have, have issues with constipation, diarrhea, irritable bowel. This is a vagal issue. So, and also we talk about the gut-brain connection. So you can see this gut-brain connection is very closely tied also to the vagus nerve. It's pretty cool stuff, right? If you think this, am I just geeking out on this? Or if you think it's cool, give me a thumbs up. It can take a while to get the right diagnosis. If you go to the right people, it won't. But yeah, it's one of those things where it definitely can take a bit. So how do we support the vagus nerve? There's going to be some specific things that I'll tell you can do, but we have to address the nutrition to begin with. So we really want to be omega-3 fatty acid heavy, and protein forward. So protein, omega-3 fatty acids, all of our nerves, the myelin sheath, which is think of a cord. I don't want to pick up a cord here and lose my connection. Okay, here's my mouse, right? So this cord has a plastic coating on it. That's how your nerves are. A lot of your nerves will have a coating over them. It's called a myelin sheath, and it's all made up of fats. So if we don't eat enough omega-3 fatty acids, we actually we're not feeding our system the proper foundational nutrients. So if you want things to heal in your body, you have to give them the foundational building blocks, and omega-3 fatty acids are one of those. Now, the thing with fish is that it must be wild caught. Even when it's wild caught, you still have to probably eat a piece of fish a day to get the proper amount of omega-3 fatty acids. Our typical diets are very heavy in omega-6, which are inflammatory, and we want to be having more omega-3s, which are anti-inflammatory. So you can take, this is why I completely, one of my favorite supplements, people say you should get as much as you can from food. That's true, except when it comes to omega-3 fatty acids, because our fish can be very toxic if we're not careful. And even if we eat one piece of wild salmon every single day, it still isn't going to be enough omega-3 fatty acids. And it still can't, our oceans are so polluted that it can still have bioaccumulated some toxins in there. So fish oil, 3,000 to 5,000 milligrams a day. If you have chronic constipation, on just a general maintenance dose, 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams a day. And then, of course, just having a good protein forward meal. And Ken says, you're making me hungry with that picture. I know, it's beautiful, isn't it? Oh, excuse me. That's good. That's good looking stuff there. So really high quality meats, organic, stick with the organic grass fed animals when they're eating grass is high in omega-3s. So the anti-inflammatory fatty acids. So if you eat, let's say, grass-fed beef that's been raised on pasture, your grass-fed beef is going to be higher in omega-3s than your conventionally raised beef, because the grass-fed beef, the pastured cows, have been eating this high quality grass and hay. So you're going to get a lot of that eating grass-fed beef. Hey, Paul Bensman, so nice to see you, my friend. Thanks for coming in. Hey, make sure you guys are hitting that thumbs up button for me. And if you could please share. And just to answer Haig's question, POTS is orthostatic hypertension. It's pretty much the same thing, same or similar. So, and P squared is geeking out with me, so for sure. So yeah, so we definitely have to have a good, healthy meal. We can't, I'm always going to talk to you about food and food choices. And yeah, this is pretty much how I eat on a daily basis. We have got to get rid of the processed foods. Anything that is gray. I mean, the only thing green in here are those M&Ms, and they're just not good for you. I've got one of the people in the detox group in Detox with the Doc. She messaged me yesterday. I say I'm the sounding board. If you go through the 10-day detox with me, I get to be your sounding board. You get to yell and scream at me and tell me how much you miss the foods and how evil I am that I'm not allowing you to eat certain things. And of course, I know it's just, it's all out of love, right? But I'm here for you. I'm here to talk you down from those ledges. So she had texted me and she was like, I have to have a Coke Zero. And I'm like, no one needs a Coke Zero. And she's like, telling me about the craving for it. And she really wanted it. And I said, this is why it's called detox, right? So some things like paying attention to that is an addiction, right? When you're just so strongly going for something like that, that is an absolute addiction. So I'm hoping that after we go through this, that will be something that she will be able to set aside and not have to have. So, Haig says, I give my coworker Gatorade when her POTS acts up, electrolytes and salt. Well, boy, that's kind of a can of worms. Hold on one second. I have to I'm going to let him out. Hold on. It's like enough of this already. So especially if we're talking blood pressure, and if a couple of things, and I don't know your coworker, but when it comes to blood pressure, it could be blood pressure, it could be blood sugar. And so giving electrolytes, so the sodium, the magnesium can help. But then also, I don't know if there's sugar in there too. So yes, it could potentially help. But you also, is she having a blood sugar issue as well? That, not really sure about that. But yeah, either way, if it's helping her, great. Gatorade is just a toxic waste dump of liquid. So I would maybe try to get her on something a little bit healthier than that. Paul says, you are so tough. It's all with love. I do it all with love. That's what I said. I'm like, and going through the detox with everybody, I do tell everybody, I'm like, this is about each and every person's success. This is not about white knuckling it. So I really try to create a program that people feel good doing, that again, like, you're not to white knuckle through a detox or a cleanse or any kind of change. It's not going to be easy. So we have to give ourselves some grace, and we have to allow ourselves the ability to ebb and flow, and the ability to fail. And failure is just an opportunity to learn. So yeah. So I mean, I like to think I'm tough, but I address this with so much love with everybody, because I really just want I want the best for everybody. So if you address vitamin deficiencies, the cravings usually improve. That's a great point. So deficiencies as well as gut disruption. So when you've got an overgrowth of poor bacteria in the gut, it's actually going to send toxic signals to the brain to give you cravings to feed them. So the bad bacteria want things like sugar and candy and cake and processed foods. And so if you're somebody who has chronic cravings, then you got to pay attention to that, because it's probably coming from a disrupted gut bacteria, a disrupted microbiome, and leaky gut. So fixing that, you're right, fix the deficiencies, fix the gut, and we will usually fix the cravings. P Squared says, processed food. I almost sent you a video of someone putting a torch to American cheese in it. Oh my gosh. Why did you almost send it to me? You totally needed to send that to me. That's disgusting and amazing all at the same time. Yeah. Haig says, you are tough, but we would have it on the other way. Thank you so much. I love it. I love it. And Dr. Erica and I talk about this on Chiropractic is Sexy every Thursday, that we really have earned the ability to be tough with our patients because we're honest. And I'm certainly not going to be somebody who's going to let you lie to yourself, because I know that it's not good for you. It's not good for anyone. And it keeps you stuck. It keeps you in a place that is not progressing your life and your health forward. So really, it is. I feel honored that I can be tough, that I can be tough with love, and that people like you guys listen, and that you enjoy it, because I'm coming from just a place of just, like you say, just pure love. I just want the best for everybody. So now we're going to move on to, because I could talk about nutrition all day long, right? So that's why I said, I'm neglecting the vagus nerve. I'm neglecting stress. So we have to get into this stress piece. So with breath work, so breath work is one of the best ways to reset the vagus nerve, to be able to get you back into rest, digest, and repair. It's simple. It's easy. You can do it anywhere, anytime. And there's so many different kinds of ways to do breath work. But I want to share a couple of things a couple of strategies that I like to use for breath work. And if everybody, as long as you're not driving, I guess if you're driving, you could do this too. But if you just take your hand and put it on your belly. Now, oftentimes when people teach, I'm just going to get rid of that for a second. So oftentimes when people teach breath work, so it'll be take a deep breath in and they go, and the shoulders raise up. Well, what I want you to do instead of raising the shoulders is I want you to think about pushing your diaphragm, the diaphragm under the lungs. I want you to think about pushing that down. And when you do that, it should push your abdomen out. So if you put your hand on your belly and you keep your shoulders steady and you just kind of go. So if you're forced to keep your shoulders steady, when you breathe in, you should feel your abdomen push out. So that means your diaphragm's pushing down and pushing out. Okay, that's what you want. We want to open that up as much as possible, because we said the vagus nerve goes all the way down into the intestines. So ready? So deep breath in. And then when you exhale, you have to go the reverse and you really have to push it back. And you want to retract. So you have to really physically think about pushing down on the diaphragm and retracting the abdomen. So it's a very active way of breathing. Now, when we do this though, when you breathe in, that's stimulating your sympathetic nervous system. That's stimulating fight or flight. So it's breathing in, let's say to a count of 4, but then we're going to exhale to a count of 8. So the relaxation part, the turning on the vagal nerve part, comes on the exhale. Got it? All right. So go with me. Here we go. So we're going to go. And then exhale on the count of 8. Okay, so it's the exhale twice as long as you inhale. And that is actually going to be really beneficial for turning on that nervous system. So that's going to be your deep diaphragmatic breathing. So just remember that. Put your hand on your belly and you want to feel that movement. So other ways that we can stimulate the vagus nerve, because it starts from the eyes, And again, these are things you can do at all times. So think about this, especially if you work at a computer. I always tell my patients, I need you to do the 20-20-20 exercise. So the 20-20-20 is you're working on your computer for 20 minutes. You want to look up 20 feet away for 20 seconds. So that way that's a lot easier on your eyes. It's easier on your body, on your neck. So you want to do that. But in the process of doing that, we're going to add this lateral eye gaze for the vagus nerve. So it'll be after 20 minutes, you look up 20 feet away for 20 seconds, and then you're going to look right for 5 seconds, and you're going to look left for 5 seconds. And that's it. Just side to side. Stimulates that. Isn't that cool? Like, just, again, tiny things. I'm geeking out. Other things that you can do, cold water or compresses to the eyeballs. I keep these little gel packs in my refrigerator, and I'll put those on like at nighttime before bed, and then do the deep breathing exercises. And I mean, it's amazing. So really great way to stimulate that vagus nerve from the top down. Now, because it comes down through the carotid artery, you can also take an ice pack and put it on the front of your neck, and that will stimulate that vagal tone. Ice water to the face. And of course, as we're going along the cold side of things, cold showers, cold immersion, cold exposure. So if you are super stressed out, just step outside. It's wintertime. Just step outside for 2 minutes and get that cold, that blast of cold. And that actually will be helpful in helping to calm that vagus nerve. So there's infrared sauna in here. I know I'm not going in order on my slide, but infrared sauna. So like this morning I went to yoga. So you see yoga, meditation, infrared. We've got our breathing, and we've got our cold. So here's what, and then HIIT. So HIIT is high intensity interval training. So the type of yoga I do is a combination. It's yoga, it's breathing, it's meditation, it's infrared, and it has the element of high intensity interval training. So I'm getting all of that in 1 hour. Now, when you exercise, when you heat the body, that's stress. That's good stress though. So there's good stressors and bad stressors. So that's really good stress. The room is 100+ degrees. We're sweating, we're detoxing. I come out and I immediately go into a cold shower because I mean, it just feels amazing. So I've been in this heat for 1 hour and I get into a cold shower and I just let that cold water sit on me. So the heat and the infrared, the infrared is helping with the vagal tone, but the heat and the exercise are stimulating sympathetic. So then I get out and I let that cold water come on me. And then like today, it was so hot that I walked outside without my jacket. I was like, I walked to my car. I think it was 15 degrees, and it felt amazing, and I was totally fine. So really, that cold exposure is a key component. Other things that we look at is humming. So humming, singing, gargling. So anything that vibrates the throat area. And then Valsalvas. What are Valsalvas? Valsalvas it's a way of holding your breath. So when we talked about the breathing in piece of it, if before you exhale, you attempt to exhale, but you hold it. So you sort of bear down, then you exhale, that's a Valsalva. So it's not just holding your breath, but it's holding your breath under pressure. So and then you pretend like you're going to blow it out, but you hold it. So you're really squeezing everything inside your body. That alone, hold that for 5 seconds and then exhale for 8. That is going to stimulate vagal tone also. Balloon blowing. Great. Like there's people have lung issues. They have problems with asthma, or like people who have long COVID still have lung issues, or people who get sick, they get pneumonia, they get lung issues. Give them a balloon. There's, these little fancy devices you can buy. They're really expensive, and you blow into them and the little balls pop up, so you want to see how high you can get that. Or you just give them a balloon and have them blow up a balloon several times a day. You can do this. Keep a balloon at your desk and blow up a balloon several times a day. And that is enough also to help to bring you back into vagal tone. So prolonged expiration breath work, we just talked about that from the perspective of blowing out twice as long as you blow in. So now this is one of my absolute favorites, this nighttime prep. And this is more to, this isn't so much stimulating vagal tone as much as it is just resting your brain. We've got to get our brain rested in order to prep for nighttime. So keep a journal next to your bed, and you're just going to pick up that journal and you're just going to write in it. And I call this a brain dump. Do a brain dump every single night, because we go to bed with all the things in our head about what happened that day, ruminating over conversations, what has to happen tomorrow, who do I need to call, I forgot to do this, don't forget to do that. You keep a journal at your bedside and you just do a brain dump. And now what you've done is you've given your brain permission to rest. Because when your brain has to hold on to all those thoughts, it continues to put you into that sympathetic state. So this is your permission. Again, permission to shut down, permission to just go to sleep. So this is actually one of my favorite practices every single night. So do a brain dump, get it all out of your brain so you can rest and not have to worry about what's coming up the next day. And then as we get up in the morning, I always recommend a giant glass of water before you do anything in the morning. Your feet hit the floor, you go to the kitchen, you grab a big glass of water. These are my water glasses. This is about 12 plus ounces or so, maybe 16 ounces. Yeah, that's probably 12 to 16 ounces, whatever it is. I get probably 3 of these before I even leave the house in the morning. I drink a whole one right from the jump. I get up and I immediately drink a whole glass of water. That hydration, it just gets everything moving in your body. And going to, back to people who have digestive issues, they're usually are not drinking enough fluids. So get that first dose of water down before you have your morning cup of coffee. And then moving your body in the morning. So stretching, sometimes we automatically stretch, we'll stretch a little bit, but get in the shower, maybe do some stretching, some side bending, really opening up your body, stretching your arms, bending over, touching your toes, and just move the body in the morning. Maybe you want to just do a few air squats. Maybe you want to do some push-ups or just something to get the body moving, some kind of mobility. And then of course, every single day, and I do this at night too. So I do my brain dump and I do a gratitude practice. So I just 3 things that I'm grateful for the day. And then the next day, same thing. Okay, what am I grateful for the next day, for this day? How is this day going to bring happiness to my life? Or how am I going to bring joy to the day? What am I here to serve and do? How am I grateful to be able to serve people? Oh, comes the dog. No, you can have a cookie later. So the practice of gratitude is something that is so important with mindset, and to be able to help people accomplish anything. If you aren't practicing your days with gratitude, you will be the person that always sees the bad things. You got stuck in traffic. Oh, that sets the tone for the day. Oh, I gotta, my boss yelled at me today. Oh, I'm gonna have a crappy week. We take these events that happen in our life. It's just a bad moment. It's not a bad day. It's a bad moment. And I mean, if we go back to the prairie and the saber-toothed tiger, that saber-toothed tiger, if he goes and he's chasing a gazelle, and the gazelle, okay, so the gazelle's under stress, running. Let's say the gazelle escapes and the tiger goes off on his way. What does the gazelle do? Just walks away, starts eating grass, might go drink water from the pond. It doesn't hold on to that for the rest of the day. It doesn't then like go home and tell its pack of gazelle friends, man, that stupid tiger chased me again. Oh my God, he nearly ruined my day. Like, it's not happening. So why do we do that to ourselves? We have to let these things go. We cannot carry them through. It really is not serving us to continue to hold on to negative things that have happened to us all through the day. So let them go, practice gratitude, and come away with the good things for the course of the day. And then lastly, this is actually one of my most favorite things that I like to share with people. So how many meetings do people have in a day or a week? I know a lot. Like, people have meetings to schedule meetings. I mean, I get bombarded with meetings and I say no to a lot of them because I'm like, no, like meetings to me are not productive. At least these types of meetings. But we go to these meetings. Now, if you work for corporate America, you can't say no to meetings. Like, you have to go to these meetings. But here's the thing. You take the time to go to meetings for your work to discuss what's working, what's not working, how can we better serve the client, how can we make more money, what's failing, what does next quarter look like? Like, we go to meetings to strategize on how to make the company better. But when was the last time you had a meeting with yourself? So I want to challenge each and every one of you to have a weekly reset for yourself. Maybe it's Sunday night, maybe it's Monday night, maybe it's Friday night, but pick a day where you spend 10 minutes with you and that journal and you talk about what went well this week, what didn't go well, what would I like to see more of next week, what didn't serve me this week, are there certain people that I'd like to meet that could potentially improve the way that I want to live my life. And but I want these to be more personalized things, right? So if you're looking for a relationship, maybe you start to define who the people are that you want to meet to attract into your life, to become a good partner. Maybe it's just you're new to a certain area and you're looking for new friends and you're looking for groups of people with common interests. So start to think about that. Is what do you need for your own life to better serve you personally? Because the world around you will absolutely gobble you up. And it will take from you. If you don't have these types of boundaries up, and if you don't have things well defined for yourself, the world will come in and just be like, great, we'll take the rest of you. And then you feel defeated and you're drained and you have no energy and you just feel exhausted all the time. So I want the best for you. So take 10 minutes every week to do a weekly reset. For me, it's Sundays. I like to reflect back on my week and I like to reflect forward on my week to come. So my weekly resets are on Sundays and I do that for myself personally. So think about that. It's one of my favorite things to do. A personal meeting, a one-person meeting. And then, of course, this is a lot, right? So I gave you a lot of information and many people, they're like, I don't know where to start. So I want you to just take one thing. Just take one thing that I talked about today and you have to just start. And I always say, it's not going to be pretty. So just start today and then start again tomorrow. And this is how it's gone in the 10-day detox program, is that, everybody's like, there's this angst because it's new stuff and they're all learning and it doesn't have to be perfect. And so that's why I'm there to help guide people. And, I'm not preaching to anybody that anyone has to be perfect. I would just want you to make progress. And progress comes just by you taking that first step, committing to yourself, and ultimately, you can see on this graphic here that you will be on the road to success as long as you just start. So Yeah. Okay. So that's my slide deck for you guys. That was a lot. Now, if you like the information that you heard, there is a link down below to sign up for the newsletter. And if you go ahead and sign up for that newsletter, I can go ahead and send you the all of the. I have a digital download for actually. Working with your vagus nerves, resetting your vagus nerve. And so if you'd like that download, just go ahead and sign up for the newsletter and I would be happy to email that over to you. So yeah, so that is that. So we got a week coming up, pretty busy week. I'm actually, this is why one of the things that, that I love about being here is that this talk, what I just did for you guys right now, is a talk that I'm giving on Thursday. So I've done this before. I don't know if I've shared or if I made you aware, but usually when I have to go and I do a talk, I lay it out here first because I can see how it flows. Now, this talk has to be 30 minutes. So I definitely made sure so when I have the whole slide deck together, but going through it, I was like, okay, I know where I need to cut some things out. I cut out 10 slides before I even came on here live. So it's a long one, but but it can easily be expanded for a keynote talk for a corporation looking to help busy CEOs stop stressing out. And and of course, I always say too that you cannot be unhealthy and be a CEO or an entrepreneur because you need all of your resources. And when you're not healthy, you can't be as productive and as energetic as you would like to be. So, if you're looking to increase your health game, then I am here to help you. I think I'm going to be running Detox with the Doc again in February. Oh, that's 2 weeks away. It'll probably be another 4 weeks, and then I'll probably start another group. And so we'll do a new one. So you'll hear about that too, because I'm getting a lot of feedback, a lot of good feedback. People want more of it. More people want to join. The group is closed right now, but we'll be starting another one here, and I'll keep you posted on that. So thank you so much, P Squared. I know, I'm excited. So it'll be... it'll be a good, fun talk. And I'm hoping that it will parlay into multiple other speaking engagements. So that is that. All right. If you guys have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section. And then if you would please make sure you are liking and sharing. We've had a few new subscribers this week, so that's exciting to see. Just working on making sure that I can better serve people and grow this channel. So all your help is greatly appreciated. So, all right, you guys, with that, it is 6:54 and my voice needs a little bit of a rest. So I'm going to get a cup of tea for the night and we will catch up with you on the next one. Ken, we'll see you soon. We'll see you in the group. Okay. See you guys. So have a great night. Thanks so much for being here.